Hi, my name is Nicole Ruxton-Payne and welcome to the final episode of Family Portrait, where I will be talking about interracial families and adoption.
This is Family Portrait.
Interracial adoption, also known as transracial adoption, refers to the act of placing one child of one racial or ethnic group with adoptive parents of another racial or ethnic group. Interracial adoption may not inherently be the same as transcultural or international adoption. However, in some circumstances, an adoption can be interracial, international, and transcultural at the same time, or some combination of those two. Let's take a look at some of the history.
Before World War II, it was exceedingly rare for white couples to adopt a child of a different race, and every effort was made in order to match a child with the skin colour and religion of the adoptive family. Then, in 1944, the Boys and Girls Aid Society took an interest in the increasing number of minority children waiting to be adopted, which focused on children from Asian American, Native American, and African American heritage. Children of Asian and Native American heritage were most easily placed outside their racial group, while those of African Americans' heritage proved more difficult. The campaign was called Operation Brown Baby, and its objective was to find adoptive homes even if from a different race. The first candidate in this operation, Noah Turner, was a Chinese baby adopted into a Caucasian family in 1947. During the Civil Rights Movement, a few regional adoption agencies began challenging race matching in adoptions by placing some African American children in non-minority households. Organisations including the Open Door Society and the Council on Adoptable Children likewise began publicising the needs of these orphans of different races. However, only small amounts of African American children were ever adopted by white parents, reaching their high around 1970. This also spurred rapid growth in international adoptions. The numbers more than tripled from 733 cases in 1968 to 2,574 cases in 1971, where large numbers of Asian children were adopted by Caucasian American families. However, in 1972, the National Association of Black Social Workers formally condemned interracial adoption, citing that adoptees were at risk for developing a poor racial identity due to lack of contact with role models of the same race. In the 1990s, the placement of black children into non-black homes virtually came to a complete stop. International transracial adoptions have continued, however. In the early 1970s, early transracial adoption proponents like Bernice Gottlieb likewise spurred the adoption of Asian children, not orphaned, but who were living in stigmatized conditions, but whose parents wished to offer their children a better life outside their countries.
The biggest concern and the biggest question surrounding interracial adoption is how this will affect the children, which multiple studies have looked into. Let's take a look.
One study found that interracial adoptees had significantly higher grades and higher academic expectations, but marginally more distant father relationships and higher levels of psychosomatic symptoms than their same-race adopted counterparts. Another report suggested that adjustment problems among their children at approximately the same levels as were reported by the parents of interracially adopted whites. Yet evidence also showed that extra family forces, for example societal racism, did negatively impact adjustment outcomes. One of this study's most interesting findings showed that interracial adoptive parents' decisions on where to live had a substantial impact upon their children's adjustments. Interracial adoptive parents living in predominantly white communities tended to have adoptees that experienced more discomfort about their appearance than those who lived in integrated settings. Transracial adoptees are posed with the challenge of understanding the differences between their own view of identity and the identity reflected and modelled by their parents. Identity entails not only race but also heritage, culture, ethnicity, and many other descriptors. Research suggests that the age of adoption and parenting acculturation styles may influence the way in which transracial children construct and build their own identities. Linda D. Manning conducted a research study on this topic titled Presenting Opportunities, Communicatively Constructing a Shared Family Identity. The The research question she posed initially was, how do members of a multiracial adoptive family communicatively co-construct a shared family identity that emphasises similarities and allows for difference? The results of the study found that having cultural artefacts in the home allow for the embrace of the differing cultures represented in the family. The research also showed that in an interracial family there is tension between uniqueness and conformity. It is difficult but essential to balance these two qualities within the family identity.
However, over the years, it has become extremely rare to see white adoptees with Black, Asian, or Latino parents. Instead, the world is constantly confronted with celebrated images of Caucasian parents adopting children from non-white ethnic backgrounds, but never the opposite. Take a look at the Jones-Baldwin family.
Kia Jones-Baldwin's family became a viral sensation last year when they posted an adoption announcement video, one that landed them on Kelly Clarkson's talk show. Kia is a therapist, her husband Ricardo is a police officer, and they have 4 children. Their youngest, Princeton Jones-Baldwin, is white. The family shares their foster care, guardianship, adoption, and race on their platform Raising Cultures. Jones-Baldwin told the online entertainment news site Scary Mummy that they face their fair share of obstacles. They've been stopped in stores and even had the cops called on them, being accused of kidnapping Princeton. They face rude questions like, why didn't you adopt a black child, or why would you not allow him to live a better life with white parents? Her clapback is perfect. She is unashamed of her multiracial family and professes that love is colourful, the theme of her social media platforms. She firmly believes that differences should be celebrated and appreciated. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. Thank you to everyone who has watched and supported Family Portrait. Just a reminder that all information and facts can be found on the internet. I hope you all have enjoyed this series and have learnt something new. Stay safe and thank you for watching Family Portrait.